Welcome to Animals Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin McKenzie, and very happy to be joined right now. Kate Turoczi, my close colleague. I work very closely with you on so much. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank
Animals
you
Voice.
for having me.
You joined us, I think, when you first joined the organization. We had you on as a meet the staff.
Yes, I did.
And you were terrified about that appearance. And now you seem less terrified.
I'm not terrified. I'm good.
You've become used to me,
Yes.
my tomfoolery.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
good. Well, I'm glad things are going well. We wanted to have you on to talk about something important. A lot of our listeners might not be aware. It's like a whole industry around estate and will planning. Yep. And that's specifically your role. You're the manager of planned giving, are you not?
Yes, I am.
Is that what your business card says?
Yep.
Okay, I believe you. So why don't you tell our listeners really what it is you're here to talk to us about?
Okay, so like you said, I am the manager of planned giving here at the Ontario SPCA. And the Canadian Bar Association promotes making a will month. We're in November.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and answer any questions that you may or somebody may have about wills.
So this is the month that they have decided is like the awareness month to try
Right.
to make people aware that, listen, you should have a will in place and you should think about not only your family, but also charities that you might like to support.
Correct.
Like the Ontario SPCA.
Yes, exactly.
Why is it so important that people have a will?
Well, Kevin, life is like a journey. So we go through this journey. We grow up, we work hard, and we plan ahead, make goals. So like most Canadians, we acquire properties throughout our lifetime. We pay off our mortgages. We save for children's education. We, put aside money and contribute to pensions and RSPs and plan for our retirement. However, like half of Canadians, we don't think about or plan ahead as to where those assets will go or what will happen to them after the fact and after we have worked so hard in achieving all of these.
Okay.
So making an estate plan is so important because we basically look ahead for our family well-beings and make sure that they have the ability to help and work with and keep what we have saved throughout our lifetime.
Okay.
And we basically, it's not about, people don't have time sometimes to plan ahead and think about passing, but making a will is not about death. It's about life. It's about basically thinking about our loved ones, thinking about charities that we have supported throughout our lives, and making a plan ahead that there will be continued support to your families and these charities in the future.
Okay, so I feel like you just highlighted a whole bunch of things that can be affected by a will. Okay, your family, your plan, your legacy, right? The things that you care
Correct.
about and that you cared about in your life that you want to benefit after you've passed, right?
Correct.
Can you talk about, what's the detriment? What can happen if you don't have a will?
Well, if you don't have a will, basically the province you live in, you reside in, they will distribute your investments, your savings, and other properties according to the provincial laws. So if you don't have a will, you don't have the ability to choose who your executor is. You don't have the say as to where your assets will go and who will get those assets. You don't have the ability to save in certain taxes. Your lifelong earnings may be depleted by taxes and unnecessary administration costs.
Okay.
Burial and funeral instructions. Those are so great to be able to have in a will. So you won't have that option. You won't be able to make any donations to your favorite charities. And if you don't have a spouse or a next of kin, the province will step in and take over your estate and take it into their own treasury.
So they would take it into their treasury
Yes.
and keep it.
Right.
They wouldn't disperse it because if you don't have a family member.
Right.
Wow. So think about that. You work your whole life and
saving and
if you,
planning.
If you didn't make that will and that plan, it could end up just going to the government.
Right.
Not that the government's horrible, but you want it.
Well,
you want personal choice.
Exactly, and you want to make sure that your estate is distributed according to your own wishes and not to somebody else's, like the government.
Wow. Do you think people are hesitant to do their will just because it's dealing with their own mortality? Like no one wants to think about passing away.
Well, again, I mean,
necessarily.
it's not an easy topic, and it's definitely not something that people like to talk about in terms of death and passing and planning for that. There's a lot of fear in that, and they feel like, oh, I might jinx things. But I have, spoken to a lot of our donors, and including my family. It is something that is so important because you never know what can happen tomorrow.
Sure, yeah.
And it is just beneficial to have a plan. And like I said, it's not about death. It is about life, and to make sure that all that we have worked for throughout the years is put down into into order and according to your wishes as to what you would like to happen to them when you are gone.
Sure. So if I'm listening to this broadcast and I think, the light bulb goes off over my head, I'm like, I need to get this done. And the Ontario SPCA is important to me. I want to leave money to the Ontario SPCA. What can they do? What's that process look like?
There's a lot of options in terms of planned giving to the Ontario SPCA. There is, for example, people can leave a bequest, which is leaving a gift in their will. There is a gift of RRSPs or RRIF, which is registered retirement savings plans and registered retirement investment funds. There's gifts of life insurance or gifts of property. So there's many, many options, a gift of annuities. And what I always recommend to all of my donors is to make sure that they speak to their lawyers or estate planning professionals and make sure that they discuss what is dear to their hearts, and to make sure that way they make the right choice, best for them.
So what's that first step, though? Am I picking up the phone and calling Kate Turoczi? Or am I picking up the phone and calling my lawyer? Or is it either or?
Well, it could be either or. Definitely, they can contact me. We have a wonderful plan giving guide that I can send their way. And that will give them a lot of information about what kind of gifts they can leave to us, wordings, our charitable...
Wordings for the will itself.
For the will itself.
Okay, and so that sounds really smart, that we have that. Did you do that? Is that your...
That is very important.
Congratulations that you did that.
I didn't do that, but it is very important because people are unsure at times. And there's so many different ways you can word things. Okay. You can make a gift specific. You can, make a gift contingent on the death of a spouse or so on and so forth. There's so many different ways you can give a specific amount. You can give a percentage of your estate.
And to a specific project?
Sure, definitely.
So, for example, the Dog Rehabilitation Center.
Definitely. There's so many different areas within our organization, and there's so many wonderful aspects they can support. We have investigations, there's dog rehabilitation, there is animal welfare, spay and neuter. What else am I leaving out, Kevin?
I don't know. We probably shouldn't talk about it because I can feel our chief financial officer, Tom, his blood pressure going up as he watches this afterwards.
But I mean, the main thing is that there's a huge area that they can support, and our priority needs and most urgent needs, are number one, and we do.
At the end of the day, I think that's something important we should make sure our listeners know, is that they shouldn't search for a project. They don't have to choose a specific area. At the end of the day, a gift that comes into us that is undesignated, that allows our board and our finance process to decide the highest priority needs. At the end of the day, that's the most valuable gift we can receive.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Good. So if I want to get one of those will and estate planning packages you talked about, how do I do that? How do I contact you?
They can definitely contact me via email at kturoczi at Ontario SPCA.
At ospca.on.ca. It's okay. I do that every time I give my email address out. Emily, the producer, shaking her head because it's like I screw up all the time. Don't worry.
And Turoczi is KTUROCZI.
Okay.
Or they can contact me here at the provincial office.
So the phone number here is 1-888-668-7722. 422, and you're at extension
324.
Okay. So, I mean, that to me sounds like such a great information package to receive and can help people, kind of a breadcrumb trail for how to piece this all together.
Definitely.
You've got a cool job.
I love it.
We're both very lucky. We get to meet a lot of donors.
Yes.
And meeting people that love animals and want to share their wealth or whatever they can afford with helping animals in Ontario it's kind of cool.
It is really cool.
You've been with us under a year now.
Yep.
Highlights from that year? Have you must meet so many nice people.
Yes,
I have. You go into houses that have like a lot of pets in them, or tell me any highlights.
I mean, I meet a lot of our donors that wish to talk about leaving a gift in their will, and it's such an honor to go and visit them, meet their pets. There's so many incidents. I have the pets sitting on my lap, and we chat with the donor, and they tell me their stories, and they tell me why they love. What their love for animals, where it's coming from, and why they want to leave a gift to us. And it's such an honor, and it's such a great feeling and so rewarding to be able to listen to them and to be able to assist them through this process. And also make recommendations. So I do recommend, them to give me a call at any time. I am very happy to take people on tours if they need to, and to show them around what we do here,
they'll be in touch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, Kate Turoczi, Manager of Planned Giving with the Ontario SPCA, thank you for being a guest.
Thank you.
You didn't have to reference your notes you have hidden on a chair beside you. See? Told you it would be fine. And also my favorite part was when you looked at me, I think after my first question, you said, Kevin, life is like a journey. I'm going to tease you a long time about that.
It is. It's a journey, and
so philosophical,
so
deep. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, the listeners of Animals Voice podcast and viewers, because we seem to be videotaping all of these now. It's very uncomfortable. I've got to hit the gym, and I've got to start dressing better at the office. If you have show ideas, please contact me. My email address is kmackenzie@ospca.on.ca. You can also follow me on Twitter at ospca.kevin. Until next time, we'll catch you later.
When you have a fighting dog who, for generations, those dog's ancestors were bred to be dog aggressive. It's in their blood to have the potential for dog aggression.